Hey, what's up, everyone? Sean here with BlueRidgeSilverhound. Hope everyone's having a good evening. So this video is something that I came up as a result of a really pleasant consultation call that I had by a gentleman. Yeah, his name's Gary, and he's been a watcher of my work for a little while now, and he's ready to take the next step in selling a lot of these errors and varieties that he had found. Um, which I'm not going to get too much into what he has because I'm still assessing the coins that he possesses that he's found over the course of a few years or whatever it is. So that's something that I'm gonna go through and kind of evaluate what he has and next steps. I'd be more than happy to do that. So ever since I reinstated my consultation calls, which I have the link down below in the description box in case you guys are interested. It's been very robust. I've talked to a number of people already about collections, how to sell, selling on eBay, consignment, grading, whole nine yards. So it's been fun to get back on the horse again. And, Gary's not the only one, but there are a number of people that are out there ready to take that next pivotal step in selling on the platform. And again, I stress you, eBay's been around for a long time. They are extremely good as a e-commerce platform for not only beginners but a lot of seasoned e-commerce people out there today. So it's only relevant that we look at this space to help illustrate this point, and that is you need to know that what you have is relevant today. And how are we going to do that? Probably the easiest thing is to look at realized sales on eBay. What I like to also do is to model after some of the well known, well respected sellers. In this particular case, we're going to focus today on CertifiedCity.net, who have been around for a while. According to what they have here, they've got 100% positive feedback. They have 2,500 plus items sold, 1,700 followers. The key, followers. You need to get some followers. And how are you going to do that? You need to start selling. You start small and then you build up your customer base from there. Your book of business is what they call it. So, Certified City Net deals primarily in errors. All right. Some of this stuff is overpriced, okay? Because if you have something that's unique, you need to try and test the market out. How are you going to do that? It's real simple. Overprice everything as a buy it now and allow people to put in the bids. Not bids, but offers, okay? Put in offers and kind of test the waters there. Now, obviously, the main goal in all of this is to make money, right? It's to profit and do all that great stuff, but it has to be done and executed in a way that is algorithm friendly. So loaded up with a bunch of keywords. So CertifiedCity.net has kind of hit it out of the park. All right, they started out small, then they've grown. You gotta crawl before you walk. When it comes to anything in life, e-commerce is no different, right? Starting out at the very beginning, it's not going to be easy. All right, you're gonna have these moments where you're trying to wonder if this thing will ever get off the ground because either you're not selling or you are selling stuff and you're putting them up as regular auction items like 5 or 7 day or 10 day or whatever, and you're just simply not getting the money that you deserve for the coin. So there's a lot of things at work here. Okay, the last thing that I want you guys to do is to feel discouraged because this whole thing is not flying high the way that you want it to. As human beings, we have this psychological tendency to want instant gratification, and I get it. We want overnight success. We want to be an overnight celebrity in this, and we want to be well respected. Okay. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out that way. But the first thing that you could do is model after some of the well-known sellers. Certified Cities one such example, but you're going to see that a lot of the coins that Certified City sells, these are realistic things that you could cherry pick out there, that you could find in that next bank box of Lincoln cents or nickels or quarters, or maybe you find them in scrap silver bulk. You just never know where you're going to find a lot of these coins, and that's the exciting part about this. So we're just gonna kind of look through, some of the coins. Some of the coins are just absolutely amazing, but I really wanted to draw to your attention some of the coins that are findable. I want to talk about realistic expectations. I don't want you to, go through this. They're like, oh, there's a 1955 double to die. Look for it in change. That's horseshit, all right? Because it doesn't work out that way. All right. The best thing that you could do on a 1955 FS101 is to find a raw example that hasn't been cleaned or beat to crap and then grade it. And then, that might surprise you. But things like, this struck through fragment, all right, which could be a detached lamination from another coin that was on the die before it struck another coin. That is more of a realistic expectation because I found coins just like that. I look through not only rolls sourced from the bank, but I also bought and have been through hundreds of thousands of Lincoln Wheat cents. Okay, I buy these 5,000 count bags and I would just roll through them. Just ask my wife. I went through so many of these things and I have found just unspectacular. I found spectacular riches, lots of RPMs, lots of double to dies, errors more than you could shake a stick at. All right. So again, if you're constantly doing the duty and you're going out there and you're spending as much of your quality time as possible into the hunt, it's going to pay off dividends. It's going to bear some of that fruit. So this I found in a wheat cent bag. This is a coin, a Lincoln cent that was struck through a later stage capped die. I have found about half a dozen of these going through bank rolls. I have found something similar to this 1983 Lincoln cent. It says struck through cloth. It could be. All right. It's graded by PCGS. And then these certified cities coins, a lot of them are graded, but you don't have to grade a lot of them. All right. Sometimes it helps with the sale, especially if you have kind of like the returning customer base that has kind of like this certain taste and what kind of taste they have. They prefer things graded. They're a little bit more eloquent in their collecting kind of direction. These are all things that you're going to identify as you continue on through the hobby and eventually becoming a reseller. Because if you want to make it a business, you want to work for yourself, you want to work from home, you want to get away from working for the man, that this is something that's achievable because there's no shortage of numismatic coinage out there today. So definitely utilize it. All right. So there's our struck through friend. Here's the 1943 Steely, struck on a thick overweight planchet for $10,000. I'll be absolutely honest, I don't know a whole lot about this anomaly. I would imagine that the planchet's thicker. All right. 55 DDO. Here's a 1965. This is cool. They call this a silver transitional error. The coins changed quite a bit from 64 to 65. No more were coins made of silver. All right, it was copper and nickel after 1964. So there was always the off chance that a newer coin that was intended to be struck on a copper nickel planchet would be struck on a leftover 90% silver planchet from the year prior. Okay, and a lot of that has to do with like a mid employee sweeping underneath the presses and tables and racks and things like that, and finding some of these leftover silver planchets, and they would just pick it up, throw it into the batch of copper nickels, and then that's how they would be introduced into the striking, whatever. So that's something that is obtainable, and it's an incredibly expensive coin. They sell for many thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. So that is certainly achievable. Here's a couple more capped eye strikes right here. Again, you do come across them, some with a partial brockage, some without. Here's a 99 broad struck dime. The dime is going to be a lot bigger size, but you're more apt to find that coin in a mid-sewn bag of 1999 Roosevelt dimes. Okay, that's where a lot of these leak through. Um, Here's a 1964 quarter that was struck on a thin planchet. All right, that's something that you don't customarily see, but obviously your coin is going to be slightly lighter weight. 1971D Lincoln cent, underweight, 39% foreign, pattern, or error. It looks like it was struck on a split plan. The planchet had split in half, making it thinner. Could be the case. 1943 steel cent, Mid-State 63 cap die error. It's got a partial brockage on there as well, mirrored brockage. I mean, you can see the prices on a lot of these coins here. 1965 special mint set, railroad track edge, also called a partial tilted collar. So a SMS coin from 1965 that you could buy the SMS set for $10. And if you come across this quarter or maybe the $half with a partial tilted collar, you could turn around and sell that for 5x. All right. I think in certain occasions you don't even need to grade it because this guy is at $70 here for an NGC 67. All right. So here's a double struck rotated in collar, 1966 Lincoln cent. I think this is the one that's been cleaned at one point. $3,000 there. Another broad struck Lincoln here. Overweight planchet. Again, anything that looks a lot thicker or thinner are considered overweight or underweight planchets. And they are mid errors. All right. Here's a 67 DDO FS 101. Always an extremely expensive coin in any condition. I don't see them sell for under $300-$400. Even for a beater. So, I mean, that's going to be a coin that will have a lot of value until the end of time. 2020 Roosevelt dime. They call that one a test piece or a rare die adjustment strike. This one was actually graded by PCGS. Here's a undated Lincoln cent with what appears to be an indent. So there was another coin or planchet that was overlapping that planchet, and then it struck both together. Only the planchets were offset. They weren't stacked perfectly on top of each other. So there's a lot of stuff here, guys. And again, I would say over 50% of what we have here is totally searchable by today's standards of cherry picking. Okay, whether you're cherry picking bankrolls, constitutional silver, you're 90%, you're 40%, 80%. Cherry picking proof sets and mint sets for a lot of these varieties is yet again another way to take advantage of the market, because the proof set, I don't know if you guys have been keeping tabs on it, but proof sets going all the way back to 1971, the first year of copper nickel clad of all the coins except the Lincoln cent. Those are obtainable today for about $8 per set. And the beauty part of it is if you end up in your travels going to a coin shop and you're searching through their more modest, modern proof set collection, it's just as easy as picking up the proof set and looking at it. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to buy 50 proof sets from your coin dealer, take it home just so you could cherry pick them, and then you're like, well, what am I going to do all these? Oh, I'm just going to throw them on eBay. You don't have to do that because the difference in what a coin dealer sells them for and what they go for online is so minuscule that sometimes you might even lose money. And you don't want that. You just want to cherry pick the coin, buy the whole set. And then the ones that don't serve a purpose or need, you leave them behind. All right. But don't be afraid to do that. But see, this person has the right idea. Certified City, again, has been slaying it. He's been selling a lot of these coins that customarily have been found in either in circulation, roll hunts, things like that. Double Struck 1982, Cent on Dime, Cap Die Strike here, a test piece, more proof coins, thin planchet proof. You know, it's like, man, all this stuff has been found and changed before, and I found quite a few of these myself. So there, I was hopeful that I was able to give you guys a little bit of positive reinforcement out of all this. If you're going to get into the hobby and you want it to eventually become something that you want to monetize and send out to e-commerce, it's always good and it's completely acceptable to be a fan of guys like CertifiedCity.net, David Lawrence, Sullivan Numismatics. You know, those are a couple of the big premier numismatics attributors of errors and varieties and type coins and all that great stuff. So hopefully you guys got a little perspective by seeing someone else's eBay store. This is incredibly achievable. And what you want to do is you want to aim at the highest possible, kind of like layer of coinage that you could find and try not to be too hung up on the coins that have very minimal value. All right, because if you continue to be hung up on coins of minimal value, you're going to make minimal money. You might even lose out money, and it's a make you reject the business of numismatics and the idea of numismatics as a collectible. You're going to begin to have doubts of its longevity, and we don't want that. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I'm your host Sean with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Hopefully this video was able to provide some support and hopefully answer some questions that you have about how to sell, what to do, because it's a tough call to get into e-commerce for the first time. The fear of failure is one of the strongest scents out there. All right, and it hits hard, man. That thing just hits your nose, and usually when you smell a skunk 100 yards away, what does your face do when you first take a whiff of it? Ugh, right? That's kind of similar to what happens in the coin industry. If it's ugly in the beginning, their natural tendency is to do the ugly face. So that's why I wanted to talk about. Thank you guys for tuning in for this one, and yeah, best of luck to each and every single one of you, whatever direction you decide to go with in this hobby. Thank you guys, love you guys, and hopefully I get to see some of you on my Whatnot stream tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. So take care, and I will see you next time with more coin stuff. All right, so long.